Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the hosts and guests and do not reflect any affiliated organizations. This content is for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be considered professional advice in any field, including but not limited to sports, healthcare, politics, esports, or music. Listeners should do their own research and consult professionals where needed. We make no guarantees about the accuracy of the information shared. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to the Rascals Lounge podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rascals Lounge podcast. Well, today we got a special guest. Guys, this guy is special. He's brutal, he is tough, and he is really good on Rainbow Six Siege. I've been watching him for a long time. And I'm going to tell you, this guy is phenomenal. If you think Jinxie is good, and if you think all these guys are really phenomenal, you haven't seen nothing yet. Guys, I am proud to introduce you to a good long time friend, SenVale. His GT is SenVale. SenVale, what's your real name? Do you give out your real name or you don't?
Yeah, no, my name's Hunter.
Hunter, okay, Hunter, aka SenVale on Twitch. Let me tell you, this guy's phenomenal. So, how's it going, brother?
Not too bad. I was just getting some editing done, and then I was putting up some sound panels. So,
oh, really?
I upgraded my setup quite a bit.
Dang. So what is it that you use Shure products as well, right? I mean, that's what I use. That's the microphone.
Yeah, no, I use a Shure mic, and then I also use a Canon EOS for my camera. And then I have a 2 PC setup. I literally have I literally don't know what else I can upgrade on my setup, so it's pretty good.
I know your content, your quality is phenomenal. It's very clear. I was gonna ask you what type of camera you use, because honestly, I use these Logitech,
Yeah, the Logitech 920C, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
That's like the streamer go-to. I use a Canon EOS, completely overkill for what I'm using it for, but my girlfriend had 2 cameras, so I'm like, oh, I could use that camera, so I'm using that camera instead. Because I also had a Logitech 920C, and it was like, kind of wanted to get a bit of camera. I was looking into it, and she's like, oh, I have this camera. I'm like, okay, I'll use that one.
Jeez. Now, how long you been streaming?
I think since the start of year 2 in Siege, so logistically probably like 7 to 8 years now.
So that's what made you got into basically
I
streaming.
started, my friend told me, hey, just, you should try streaming. I'm like, what the hell is that? He's like, you can just, because I played on console. They're like, just hit go. Just hit your stream button on your controller. I'm like, oh, okay. So then I did it without a camera, and I played on Wi-Fi. My stream crashed 3 to 4 times every stream, but never had more than 2 viewers for like over a year. But it's all good. We're here now.
I remember those days, man. When I tried streaming, man, oh, it was a pain in the freaking neck. Only had 1 viewer, and the other one was my cell phone.
I made jokes to my brother that I was going to go to the library and turn all the computers onto my stream as I walk away. No, occasionally I had 3 viewers. It was my iPad, a computer, and my phone.
Yeah,
yeah.
I've been there, done that. I mean, we try our best to make it happen for people around the world that's listening, because now I got, the ratings went really high with listeners. How it all started for you, gaming in general? You started on Nintendo, or how was it all started for you?
First game I ever played was Zelda Ocarina of Time and Mario 64 on the Nintendo 64, and I was hooked after that.
Oh, okay. That's when you totally became a gamer.
Yeah, I realized I was doing speed running as a 10-year-old in Ocarina of Time to see if I could beat the game in a single day from start to finish. And I did that like 80 times. I was like, what am I doing?
Wow.
Yeah, and now we're here.
Yeah, now you're totally in. Now you can't back out.
Yeah, I'm not really an FPS gamer either. I like FPS games, but I kind of got into this genre on accident.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely more of a tactics kind of guy. I like RTS games. I like Fire Emblem, Shining Force, that kind of stuff, like turn-based tactics, Baldur's Gate, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But Siege has a little bit of that. It has, obviously it's an FPS game, but it has a little bit of that tactics stuff that I like. I'm like, okay, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, that's gonna make you think.
Yeah, I need something that's gonna make me think, or I'm gonna get way too bored. Like, no offense, I need one that plays Call of Duty, but like, I need to use my brain, or I just get just unenthusiastic about it. I just get like tuned out.
Totally agree with you. I mean, I had ADHD since I was a young kid, and I kind of noticed that I could get bored really quick with certain things. And I played Call of Duty, but then I wanted something a little bit more deeper. Then I went to Battlefield, and with Battlefield,
oh yeah,
I went in Battlefield 3.
What's the best Battlefield?
Oh man, I think it's a toss up between 3 and 4.
I have a couple hot takes on that. Okay. My favorite one was Battlefield Vietnam.
Oh yes, I remember that.
That was the first like Battlefield game that had like foliage you could like hide in. And I thought that was fucking that was crazy.
Yeah.
Because like going from like the first Battlefield, like, I think it was like Battlefield 2 or Battlefield 1942 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And that was just like big, flat, open, barren wastelands.
Correct.
And then Battlefield Vietnam like had bushes and trees. I'm like, oh my god, this is crazy.
Yeah. That is true. Now, were you good at Battlefield?
I used to play competitive in a lot of random little FPS games, including Battlefield.
Wow.
Wolfenstein Enemy Territory. I'm not sure if you've heard of that, but that was a game I did a lot of.
Yes, I remember that.
What was it called? MLG? I think it was MLG. Like game battles.
Mm-hmm.
And I never used my mic with my team because it was me and my brother, and we were both squeakers. So we never talked.
Oh,
so like,
geez.
I don't have my mic on. Oh, my bad.
Yeah, Battlefield. Those were the good old days, man. It was fun. I remember hitting top 10 because on the way they did their stats is like, okay, you could be the number one in using claymores, or you could rank number one and use it with this weapon. And I forgot what it was. I hit like it was a top 30, top 20 on bat, but it just lasted like an hour. Then afterwards, somebody took my spot. Then I dropped down, and I'm like, "What the heck? Forget this," you know.
It sounds like Siege.
Yeah, it's like I'm struggling to get to be on the top, but I was really good at that game. And then Siege came out. All my friends online on Xbox, they started saying, "Hey, you gotta this game is gonna be the best. It's gonna destroy everything." It's called Rainbow Six Siege. And when I played the beta, I said, this sucks. You can't jump. You can't do certain things. You're just like, what the heck? And I didn't understand the concept completely. And then my stepson got me into it again. He says, no, you got to just try it. This is the objective. This is This is a game that's not a run and shoot. You got to think. You got to do this and go here. Make a hole here, rotate, and then you could kill the enemy. Then I got hooked into it.
Yeah, I got into Siege in kind of a weird way. I played a game called Tom Clancy Phantoms prior to Siege. Mm-hmm. It was like a cover shooter, kind of like Siege meets Gears of War in a way.
Okay.
And the servers were going down because Siege was coming out, so I'm like, well, I guess I'll try Siege because you know what, I have to. There's no other option. And my computer at the time couldn't run Siege, so I was like, I guess I'll try it on console. I've never really played an FPS game on console, so I was like, I guess I'll try it, because I've been a mouse and keyboard guy my entire life. So I tried it on console, and I was like, this is actually pretty fun. I was the guy in the beta playing Thermite, throwing frag grenades against the ceiling in the beta, so people really hated me. But, yeah, it was a good time. And even using a controller, it's like, I never felt really flicky-leany with a controller. Yeah. And I knew at some point I'd wanted to go PC, but I'm like, at that point in time, it was like I was going to work, coming home, playing a game. I'm like, I wasn't really too worried about like, I want to get a computer so I can stream Siege. It's like, no, I wasn't thinking at all about like Twitch or anything.
Wow, that's crazy. Now, as far as I remember, I know we talked, on your chat, you explained one time that you used to be in the medical field. Was this at that time when you were in the medical field?
I graduated from college with a degree in biochemistry,
Holy
and
crap.
I planned on going to medical school. And I was working in hospitals as a medical scribe. Basically what a medical scribe does, like let's say a doctor can normally see like let's say 15 patients in a day. Medical scribe, I do all the paperwork for them as we're like seeing patients. So like I'm writing everything up. They never touch paper at all. So we can see instead of like 15, we can see 20 or 25 people in a single day. So I was doing all their paperwork effectively. And that's a really good way because I worked with different doctors all the time. It was a good way of getting a ton of letters of recommendation for different schools. So I was doing that. And then I like started to stream a bit. And I was like, you know, this is doing pretty good now because I did the medical scribe thing for a couple years because I got to low level medical scribe and then I went to I got higher up and then I started training other scribes and then I was like, you know what, I'm making more off of streaming than I am at this. I'm like, I know like I'm not making much, but kind of want to venture down this route a little bit more.
Correct. That's wild. I mean, it is long hours. I mean, you have to pull in streaming, but I can't fathom. It's like, wow, he's making more money doing this.
Oh yeah, the long hours thing doesn't really concern me too much. I was like the guy like occasionally like having to work like 10 p.m., 8 a.m. shifts.
Okay, was it 12 hours or was it just 8 hours?
It depends on how busy it was. So it was 8 to 12 hours.
Okay, because I pulled 12 hours at the hospital. When I make my own shifts, I do 3 days a week.
Yeah, when I was working in the ER, it really depended on how many people were there. And then I went into cardiac.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a little bit more chill.
Yeah. Than the ER, yeah. ER is
just a little bit.
Yeah, I'd say anybody that works in the ER, you could work anywhere in the hospital.
Yeah, I got some horror stories from the ER.
Really?
Yeah. So
4th of July ones?
No, just like a lot of drug ones, a lot of naked, a lot of rotting human flesh kind of stuff that I don't really want to talk about too much.
Yeah.
It's no,
I know.
Life.
I know perfectly well. I used to be down at the ER. I did to pick up extra hours. I mean, shifts and stuff like that, make extra cash. Oh, overtime. They say, "Hey Jeff, would you like to go ahead and sit for a patient?" I'm like, "Oh God, Baker Act, okay." Let me check. I mean, you see everything.
Yeah, I've seen some of the worst of humanity.
Thing. Yeah, I was like, jeez. And I'm like, okay, whatever you do, don't send me to the ER. I don't want to.
Yeah.
And I'll help out, but no. Yeah, no. That's wild. So then after that, you did that, and then you just gradually, you went on to streaming, and you actually, was that the only game you were streaming? Was Rainbow, or was there other games you were streaming?
I tried a couple different games. I can pull up my Twitch tracker really quick to tell you what games I actually streamed.
Because there's certain games that actually will help. I mean, it's like, okay, this is what's actually bringing in my viewers, and there's certain games that won't.
I did a lot of research into this too. So there were a couple other games I used to stream, like Rogue Company when it was kind of hot. I won Twitch Rivals in Rogue Company against Fortnite pros. That was a good one I did for a while. I played a little bit of Tarkov, Valorant, and mostly Among Us. I did a lot of Among Us when it was hot. Mm-hmm. But more than anything, obviously, Siege.
And that's where
the biggest reason for that, I did a lot of research into this. The best way to grow on Twitch, streaming the games that aren't the top row games. You need to stream the games that are like second to fifth row in terms of view count on Twitch. And Siege just sat right in that little sweet spot. Like a game like Valorant, like there's hundreds of streamers to choose from. Siege, there wasn't that many, especially the ones that were playing console like I was. Like at the time, like Jinxie's even told me this, like he used to watch me when he was like getting into Siege and stuff. Like there weren't that many people streaming the game on console.
That is so true. That is so true. Yeah, you didn't see a lot of the console players on R6 and then streaming it.
Yeah, and the ones that were getting banned every other day for doing crazy stuff. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, I can name a few, but I'm not going to.
Yeah. That's wild, man. That's wild. Now, what was the computer that you had that didn't work that well for R6? You later on upgraded, or
So it's a slow process. So my stream setup slowly evolved over time. So it went from just a PS4, and then
mm-hmm.
one of my buddies sent me a camera. One of them sent me like a crappy computer. Like it was like a library type computer. Like it was like nothing stellar, but like I could use it to have OBS open, so I stream
Okay.
from my console to OBS on that computer. So I was still streaming console, but now I could use like overlays and stuff. So I was like, okay, this is cool. And then stream was doing pretty good, and then I just kept doing that for a while, and eventually I got my own computer where I could start to poke into PC gaming. And when I started doing that, I got Twitch Partner, and then I got another computer, and so like both my computers were pretty good now. And then I just somewhat recently upgraded another computer. So basically, what I'm doing, I'll buy a game computer, and that computer after the time will shift to my stream PC.
Mm.
Yeah. So
Okay. That's awesome. You know, it's funny because I'll talk to a lot of these pros that I had on the pod, like Rexon and a lot of these people. They tell me like their first computer they used to play Rainbow was on a laptop. I'm
yeah,
like, are you seriously?
that was my first computer was a laptop which couldn't run Siege because I dropped it and had an overheating issue like crazy.
Oh God.
I used to play somewhat competitive StarCraft too, and
Mm,
I had over enough FPS to play the game.
yeah.
And then eventually when I dropped it, it started to go down to 1 FPS, and that was not playable. It was a
Yeah.
slideshow. So I was like, okay, well, this laptop don't work no more.
Save up the money. You got to spend it for the good, play good games.
Yeah, and I had a PS4 because of, Skyrim. So I was like,
Oh, yes.
might as well try Siege on this, I guess.
Yes. Oh, yeah. On PS4, it ran good. Rainbow ran really good.
Everybody still tells me, like, one of my graphic settings, because console just looks amazing. Like, especially now, like, on a PS5 with, like, boosted, like, graphics, it just looks
Mhm.
really good.
Do you think it looks better now? I mean, on a PS5 than it does on PC, or basically?
For a different reason, yes, because you're frame limited on consoles, so most of the energy is being spent on making it look better. PC, I can probably make it look nicer, but then it's at the cost of frames, and I like frames.
Mm.
So,
And you have a really good GPU, right? What are you using? A 39?
I'm using a 4080 right now. I've been thinking about upgrading, but if I'm over 360 FPS, there's not much of a point. So,
Gee. And I got what I have is a 3070 Ti, and I haven't touched it.
I went from not having a gaming computer to now I have a 1660 Super, a 2080 Ti, a 3080 Ti, and a 4080.
I mean, well, that's the only game you play is Rainbow, right? I mean, you do play some other games, but you mainly concentrate on that game.
Yeah, mainly Rainbow.
Mainly Rainbow. I mean, if you do feel the need to upgrade it, I mean, geez, but 48 it's a beast.
Yeah, there's not that many graphics cards on the market right now that's like a huge leap in like technology that it's going to make it worth, especially with the Nvidia prices being absurd right now. It's just not going to really change anything. So
they're insane, man. Prices are just like I mean, it's like what, almost $2,000 just for one GPU. It's like, what the heck?
Yeah, if you're not seeing a massive improvement, I mean, I'm playing 1440p at 360 FPS, and I don't really need anything else.
Yeah, you don't.
So
you don't. It's friggin' phenomenal. And I mean, the way you have everything set up is like really, really good. How many monitors do you have? Because you are multi-streaming your stuff, right? You do on.
I stream on Twitch, Kick, TikTok, and YouTube all at the same time.
Wow.
I have a stream PC that handles all that thing.
Oh, okay. That's separate. That is separate that you have.
So
okay.
It handles all that. So my game PC is just Discord and the game.
Now that PC, that one doesn't require a good GPU, or does it?
It doesn't, but I have a 2070 in it. currently.
Okay, so that's good. But what it requires, I bet it needs a lot of RAM and
Yep, and it was my old
processor.
gaming PC, so it stats are pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's wild, man. That's wild. It's really crazy. So you've been streaming for, like you said, 8 years now.
Yeah, something like
You
that.
know, what's really crazy because I noticed that, I mean, this is way back because now I'm very time limited. I hardly go on Twitch as much as I did before. But I remember back then, some people make jokes of your age. I mean, I'm in my late 40s and I've been playing since, geez, for
Well,
years.
in competitive FPS games, if you're over the age of like 21, you're a boomer. So it is what it
Yeah.
is. It's not, the problem's not going to get any better. So I just kind of just stopped giving it any energy. Call
I
you a
remember,
40-year-old man over and over. I mean, eventually at some point, I am going to be a 40-year-old man. So,
yeah.
shrug.
I remember there were, yeah, people would like say stupid stuff. Oh, how old are you? How old? I'm like, come on. If he's good, he's good. Trust me, he'll beat all of you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I see that a lot of a lot of people that go into certain people's chat and they'll just like try to bust people's balls because of the age and they're streamers and they're actually good and they're just goof around and try to bust their balls just because of their age.
Well, you can't say I'm bad at the game. The only thing you can comment on is my age. So
Yeah, I mean you're freaking phenomenal.
I used to be called a shitty boomer. Now I'm just a boomer.
Now, how is it that you got in contact with all these pros? I mean, you've been in a
Face It Pro
scene.
League.
Hmm?
When I played in Face It Pro League.
Oh, and Face It. Okay.
So back in not back in the day, it was like 2 or 3 years ago now, but so when ESL still owned, Siege Esports,
Correct.
ESL also owns Face It. So they had this program called Face It Pro League where you can go, like, it's the road to Face It Pro League. There's 3 different tiers. If you win road is anyone that's platinum up can play.
Mm.
So if you win road, you can go to FPLC. And FPLC had the T2 players or people that have won road. So it was this like next level competition. And then, you win that, you go to FPL. And if you don't keep up in FPL, you can get voted down. They can just like kick you out if they don't like you, which was a struggle because when I got into FPL, people were not happy about it. But eventually they were fine with it because I was doing pretty good.
Yeah. Why weren't happy? What was your thoughts? What was the rumors?
The thoughts on me as a player is old man that is bad.
Ugh. Yeah, that was I didn't want to say that, but that was one of the things that I heard way back. I was like, what? No, he's an old man. He's not. He's not that old. I said, dude, I'm in my 40s, and come on.
It's just how it goes. Like people, it is what it is. But playing FPL was great because it got me with a lot of connections with pros and stuff. Like
Correct.
just yesterday I was playing with Gunnar and Rexon. Got me in connections with people like that, and that Face It Pro League had a $5,000 monthly prize pool, and I won a lot of that. So
yeah, good for you, man. You earned your stripes, man. You did what you had to do.
yeah, a lot of people just got voted in. You can get voted into FPLC, you can get voted into FPL. I'm like, I'm not even gonna bother with that. I know no one's gonna vote me into anything. I'm just gonna grind up, and it's content outside of ranks that has a lot less cheaters. So
That's true. That's true. When you guys are playing, on your own lobbies is the best way to do it because you're not going against, cheaters. You're playing against your own. Playing when you do the tens. That's the fun part. What happened to me, right? You know how I did it.
so
I didn't get to play with a lot of pros. I did get to play with Packer, Tristan, all those cats that you already know.
Mm-hmm.
But I never played rank, try to go with rank with them because I felt like, oh dude, I'm not that to their level. They play with each other so many times, almost every single day. And I felt like, I'm going to be a burden. But I said, I'll play some on rank with you guys. So I was able to play some on rank with them. And still, they were just like, they play a way that is just geez, it's too fluid for me, too fast. And I'm just like here observing and trying to catch up. But it was fun.
Yeah,
but
it's hard to play with people at that level because everyone, they will always expect you to know what to do in every single moment. Like,
correct.
Let's say you're pushing, this is going to be a little bit more intricate, but let's say you're playing Chalet and you're library, and then you have a teammate that's, going up blue. They assume that you're taking control of like top fire. You have, main staircase watch. They're assuming that you're doing these things. So if they get shot in the side of the head, they're definitely looking at you. It's like, this guy, bro.
Yes. It's like, what is he doing? I hope, I was like, geez. So I will tell them I'll be glad to play with you, but unranked. That's all I care. I don't want to play rank with you guys. I mean, if push comes to shove, I forgot who was it that I got to play a rank with. I think it was Gav. And then he told me, yeah, just come on, don't worry about it. I'll carry you. I was like, are you sure? I'll carry you. I was like, okay, fine. So I got to play some ranked matches with him. I was like, oh,
a lot of the pros are pretty chill.
Yeah, there's some,
a lot.
Some of
a
them
lot of them are. A lot of them. Chill. There are some that are less chill.
Mm-hmm.
There are some I know that quite I actually do not like. But
same here. You know what kind of ruins it is their friggin' egos. I see that a lot.
Well, it's the people that have egos that haven't won anything. So I'm not sure why you have an ego.
Yeah, some of them, they're just too cocky, arrogant, and I'm like, dude, what the heck, man? So I'm like, nah, forget that. I see that a lot in the esports community, a lot of it in pro leagues, not only with Rainbow, but a lot of, from different games.
Unfortunately, it's not even just pro league; it's a lot of the community in general. It's just, it's really ego driven.
Very.
You're not really going to change any of that, but it is what it is.
Oh, I drive this. I have this. I do this. I got this. I got that. I got this. I'm like, damn it, this guy just.
Everybody that plays Siege has $100K in their bank account, is 250 pounds, 6'5", and runs O Block. So I've heard it all.
Yeah, that's true.
Band for band.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy for me because I got to know all these guys because I started modding for one. Well, I'm on for a pro player that's for Halo. And then ever since I started modding for him, and he's like one of the best in the world. He's the top 3 in the world till today on Halo. And then I started modding for a lot of pros, and I was selective. I said, if I'm going to get with good people and I want to grow in this, I'm not going to be a pro player, but let me hang out with the pros. So my strategy was the more people, pros and that are really good in Rainbow, I'll start modding for them. And word came around, oh, you mod for Packer, you mod for this guy, you mod for this other guy, and they'll look it up. Because back then there was an app that you could see all the people that you mod for. And then they'll look it up and, they're like, oh, yeah, and I will just screenshot. So these are all the people I mod for and send it to them. They're like, oh, yeah, then you're good. And if all these pros get you, then it's for a reason. And I start modding, and that's how I became about. And it was pretty cool. It was pretty fun. And then I tried a streaming. And then from there, I just said, streaming is not going to work out for me. Let me do podcasting. So that's how I
get that. Kind
of grew into that. Then I was picked up by Wildcard. I got picked up for them, doing worked in communications and also making sure that the pro players that are for Wildcard, they were doing when they stream on Twitch, they're going by the rules and regulations. So I'll be constantly sending a message, hey, be careful with this word, be careful with this, don't get in trouble. Because if they get in trouble, more likely they will get banned. And if they get banned, it gets reported to the org, they said something that was out of hand, and they more likely get kicked. So they didn't, they don't want no dramas. This organization was really, really cool. Very, very nice org. They're like, just watch out for these guys. Make sure they do everything right. I'm like, I'll keep an eagle's eye.
It's trying to corral a bunch of wild people.
Yeah. And it's tough because they're young.
Yeah.
They're young. I understand them. They're 19, a lot of them are 20s, early 20s, and they'll talk about certain stuff. And I'm just like, dude, just be careful with certain subjects, It could if it could spread out like a wildfire, and trust me, and once that goes on Twitter and on TikTok, forget it, you're doomed. There was, I forgot who it was. I don't even remember. Even if I remember, I can't mention, but they said something, and I told, you're gonna delete this stream, what you just did, delete it. What happened? I said, you said this. And he's like, oh my God. I said, you said this and this and that, and that could lead to this. I said, the rules and regulation is this. And he's like, I'm having technical difficulties. I need to reboot my system. So what he did, he deleted it and came back on. And I was like, smart move. He goes, thank you, man. I didn't notice that. Yep. So it was fun. It was fun. Wow, man. So other than Rainbow Six, is there any other pros that you play with? Have you ever played with Summit yet?
No.
Summit?
Any other pros I've played with? I don't really know. I don't think so. No. I'm fairly prideful. I don't like trying to like go up to people and be like, "Hey man, you wanna play?" I just, that's just not my thing. It's like, if people want to play as an equal, I'm down. I don't want to like have a Drake and little bro situation like happening in voice calls. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So there are some streamers in Rainbow that I'm like, I know they're decent players, but like honestly, I don't like playing with them because they're deafened a lot of the time. They're not calling out. I'm like, bro, like I don't need your name I don't need your name to be, boosting up our squad, quote unquote, rep. I need you as a player, bro. You can stream, that's fine, but you got to be part of this.
Yeah, you got to play it. I had that issue once with a buddy of mine that's really, really good. He communicates like to the T. He like when he plays, he's full communications. His comms is phenomenal, and he's actually a professional skateboard player. And I've been trying to get him to play with certain guys. I got him to play with certain people, and he reaches back to me and said, Jeff, this is like the worst experience. So what's going on? They're just running and shooting, just doing whatever they want because they're trying to do TikTok content just to show kills. I'm like, are you serious? He says, I'm doing all the call outs. I'm doing everything by the book. And it's just like completely just, this is horrible. And I'm like, oh gosh. So I'm like, okay, don't worry about it. I'll see what I could do, So I had to set him up with another group of people that he'll play once in a while with. And he's able to play, but he's actually really good. I mean, he's a champ, diamond the champ player. I mean, he's freaking phenomenal. So when he's not on tour and doing his things with skateboarding and all that stuff, he'll be grinding really hardcore. I'm gonna introduce you one day to him. He's really, really cool. Very cool guy. Very cool. Yeah, he competes around the world doing all these shows on skateboarding, and I'll call him and I have his cell phone and I'm like, where you at? Oh, I'm here. I'm in California, or I'm here. I'm in, North Dakota. I'm here. I was like, geez, freaking all over.
Priorities.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild, man. It's wild. Now, does your girlfriend play?
No.
She's not a gamer?
No, not really.
Okay, opposite attracts. That's what they say. Opposite says she's not a... Well, I think it's a good thing. Because I don't know, there's certain relationships that I just think to myself, man, I don't know how they make it. They both are gamers. All I do is just stream. All I do is play. I wonder if, man, I don't know. My wife, all she plays is Mario.
She's really into like watching me do all this stuff. So it's like she's supportive of it.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. At least she's supportive, helps you out, whatever you need. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Now, have you ever gotten to go against Bolo? I don't know if you did or
With,
not.
against, yeah, a couple
With
times.
and against. How was that about? How'd that go?
It was fun.
It was fun.
No, it was fun. I mean, playing against Polo, I mean, I'm not really the type of person to be like shaking in my boots against whoever I'm playing against. I have a lot of
Mhm.
experience playing against pros. Like, yeah, they're good, but everyone's good until they get shot in the head.
That is true.
So,
That is true. Now I heard you mention a thing not too long ago that you played. What do you play against Stompin or Jinxie or something? Did the 1v1 thing?
1v1 Jinxie.
You 1v1 Jinxie.
I've 1v1 Jinxie and I've 1v1 Spoid.
Okay, Spoit. Okay, yeah, we know Spoit. How was it when you 1v1 Jinxie? How was that experience?
Um, it was good. He was better than I thought he would be. I trolled quite a bit because I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to try to win by a last massive margin. Because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
it's it's a 1v1. It's for content. I want the longer I'm playing against Jinxie, the better the stream's gonna do, right? So I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
so I'm like not trying to go full throttle. I was just trying to have a good time, like more talking to
Yeah.
Jinxie, having a conversation while we're just kind of playing. Like it wasn't as stressful as the Spoit 1v1 where we're both like not talking at all, like just trying to kill each other.
Yeah. Well, you got to think about it, Spoit. You both are very competitive. Jinxie is more into like mindset of content creation. He's like, listen, I just want to have fun and make sure my viewership grows a lot. Now, did that help you out a lot with your stream? Did that make it like grow massively?
1v1 with Jinxie?
Yeah.
I don't think I want to use the word massively, but it definitely helped. Definitely helped. Got my name out there a little bit more, and I still have the occasional like person come in here and they're like, "Hey, I remember you from 1v1 in Jinxie." I'm like, "Oh, cool."
That's cool. That's cool. Now, with Jinxie, I'm really happy that he came along because he actually helped.
Yeah, he does a lot more for other content creators than probably any other content creators combined. So,
Wow, that's
like I
true.
he's picked up little. I mean, like there's no point in him 1v1 in me, but he did.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, well, I don't know about that. You're actually really good. I remember one time we were debating, we had this argument over it was funny, argument over a controller versus mouse and keyboard. And you're explaining to me, okay, this and that jab. Well, you said Dr. Lee, mouse and
I'll
keyboard.
die on that hill, man.
Yeah, and I said, no, I agree. And I said to myself, okay, SenVale, let's do this. I'll go with my controller on my PC. We're gonna let's do a 1v1. Let me tell you something, SenVale. Between you and I was shitting my pants. I was praying, I hope to God, please he says no. And then you came look at the camera, you're like, nah man, I'm not into that. I'm gonna be playing
Yeah, like I'm like playing rank. I'm in the middle of a rank match, 1v1 off. And
I was
I'm not. I'm like, hey guys, I got a lead. I got a 1v1.
I was so freaking happy. I was like, oh, dude, what did I got myself into? I'm like, oh, I just hope to God he says no. And then you end up looking at the camera, and I was like, fooling around, acting all tough guy. Come on, yeah, let's go ahead, let's do it. I'll go with my controller versus. Yeah. You looked at the
The
camera,
best
you're
way
like,
to summarize this is like when I think about controllers on PC, it's like you're about to race against Usain Bolt, but
yes.
it's not hard enough for you. So you decide to chop off one of your legs and you're racing on one leg instead. It's
Yes.
like there's no aim assist in Siege. So using a controller is inherently putting yourself at a pretty big disadvantage.
Yes, it is. I have to when I do it because I like the competitiveness. It's really I can't. I mean, I swear, Simple. I try so hard mouse and keyboard before, and I just can't. And I think I'm at the age that my reflexes. I don't know. I just can't. So with controller, I actually do really good. I'm always I'm 1.1 and 1.2 KD. You could look at Dr. VTech on R6 tracker. And I do pretty good. I'm basically a basic plat level player. I don't go any higher than that because after you go higher than that, forget it. You're gonna start playing with the big boys, and you're gonna get
Everyone
demolished.
there is gonna
They're gonna just wipe me
hit.
out.
Well, yeah, they're gonna want to be
Yeah.
shooting really straight
I
and
can carry
be
my weight,
strategic.
and I'll just do it like that. But I just like to have my fun, and that is basically it. But I just can't with mouse and keyboard. But I understand what you were saying. I mean, this is so true. You need to get really good with mouse and keyboard in order the reaction time to left
I
to
don't think
right.
there's anything wrong with like using a controller. It's just I would put myself in situations where I'm only playing against other controller players.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm good with a controller, I'm going to be playing on console. Because there's no aim assist. There's no real advantage on playing on PC. Because at a certain point, like you said, like you got the plat, it's hard. Like I've played with people that have hit champion on a controller on PC, but when they're in a stack with people, like it's very obvious to see where they're lacking.
Oh yes, yeah. I mean, I gotta change my style completely. Like compare how I play it on console. I am totally different. People will tell me, dude, why you're playing it so safe? I go, listen, I'm on controller. Oh, dude, well, you got 7 kills and you only died once. So I said, yes, but I got to play very extremely safe versus you. You could just run in and just, start planning real quick and just stop, and peek and look really fast. I can't. I try to do that in controller. It's freaking slow.
Yeah.
I said, I gotta, I do a lot of repelling. I repel a lot of windows. I do a lot of that. I play everything like super safe.
I'm not sure if you know who Pina is, but Pina used to play with me on PC using a controller, and I used to always yell at him all the time because he was always going Flores and Jackal on repels holding pixels, and I'm like, brother, if you're gonna do that, at least bring some type of util that makes sense. Jackal and Flores makes no sense on repel.
No sense. Yeah. I main 0 for that. I just put 0 cams all over the freaking place. I die. Okay, fine.
You're at least
I'll
doing
give
something. You have some type of util.
Oh yeah, no, I totally agree. Totally agree. What do you think about this rank 2.0, the new ranking system?
I feel like it is the difference between having a competition like here's first, here's second, here's third. In terms of a competition. And now it's the participation trophy generation of everyone's good. You all won. Basically,
wow, that's true. I never saw it that way.
It ranks up everybody massively, and everybody's like, you spawn it. If you're at emerald level at all now, like you're gonna hit champion if you play enough. It's effectively a battle pass.
Really?
Yeah, it is not that hard to get champion if you hit emerald. Like, because on average, you win, lose. Like I've seen champions hit champion with a 40% win rate.
What?
Which just doesn't make sense.
That does not at all. That does not at all. Jeez.
That's why there's a wide variety of levels of champions. There's I put 1 point of elo into champion. There's the guys that go a couple hundred in, and then there's the top 100 guys that are going to be very, very good. And those guys were probably champions in ranked 1.0, where it's a little bit harder. The newer champs are the guys that were like gold and low plat.
That kind of like sucks because if you look at the R6 tracker and you look like, I noticed that too with a lot of players I even face in unranked. And I go and I search their name. I say, okay, this guy, was a plat as well. So I'm thinking, okay, we're going to do pretty good. But I noticed the way he's playing. I'm like, this is questionable. So when I look, this person was silver, gold, for a long, long time, silver, gold, bronze. And I'm like, oh, either that person just got boosted up or with some buddies, but I'm like, okay, this guy's been like that for a long freaking time. And then I go to their unranked matches to see how they perform, and it's like completely horrible. It's like, how are these people getting ranked up so high lately? I just couldn't. Now you kind of explain
skill
it.
Differential in Siege is exponential, but the ranks are linear. So the difference between a silver and a plat is a good series of games. It doesn't mean that you're better than anyone else. It just means that you had a couple good days. Like ranks really don't really mean anything unless you're comparing like several different seasons. Like, oh, this guy was this, and this.
Yeah. From the back, yeah, that's true. Yeah, like you were saying, there's different seasons or rank 1.0. What do you think about this banning system? I mean, I have my thoughts about it.
I honestly like it a lot.
You like it a lot? You don't feel like it's target? Well, a lot of people call it target banning now.
I like it a lot because it changes something that was kind of like a shrug to now thinking tactically about things. Like Clubhouse completely changes how Clubhouse is played. Completely. You're banning Hibana. You're banning Maverick. You're banning K. You're banning Tubarão. You're banning Bandit. You're banning Castle even. Like bans that you would never see before. Now these bans are like, oh, it's like, damn, they can open up this hatch now, or oh, that we can't really stop them from opening this wall.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
Like one time I had to attack Basement on Clubhouse using Fuse with heart breaching charges because they banned Hibana, they banned Thermite even, and Ace. And I'm like, well,
yeah.
What else do I got?
Yeah. What else?
So like fuse the floor, then open up the hatch, I guess. I'm not sure what else. I mean, it could go grim, but I'm like, they're going to nitro me. The fuse will make them like, scatter around so they don't nitro me, I guess. I don't know.
Jeez.
It makes it more interesting.
It does. It does. I'm just, the part that I'm upset with Ubi is that they didn't implement unranked how it was when it first unranked came out. They made it identical to ranked, but it's not ranked. You could pick and ban maps.
Yeah.
And you could pick and ban. I mean, you could pick and ban, now the operators, but not the maps. I'm like, okay, this kind of like sucks because there's certain maps that, we want to ban and you just can't ban them like you do in rank. So it's like, okay, I'll take it. Whatever is better than standard. That standard was horrible. I mean, I was just like, this is like completely just horrible. I just didn't like it. This is casual. That's what I felt like. So now with the, it was just like, I just didn't like it. I didn't like it. A lot of streamers that I noticed, they're using unranked to play with their followers. Do you play with your followers, or you don't do that yet?
I do that occasionally. I'll play on my alt and just play ranked. It's kind of like the same way that I like talked about Call of Duty. Mm-hmm. It's like I have to use my brain or I'm just going to get too bored. Like even if I'm on my ult, like I want to play against someone that has the capability of beating me because I'll just be just like leaned back in my chair, just not really caring.
Yeah. But my thing is a lot of your followers and viewers that you have on Twitch, a lot of them don't have the same type of rank that you have. So how can you help those out? Like say for an example, me. If I was ever to want to play with you, I couldn't do rank with you because the MMR difference.
What do you mean?
Like if I was to tag along, I mean it would be unbalanced. You got a plat player, you're a champion. It would be like
a good learning experience.
Okay, Dr. V is going negative 1 and 8.
No. If I'm on my ult, like I kind of balance expectations. It's like if I'm on my main, I'm serious, I'm competitive. I've been competitive my entire life. If I'm on my main account, I'm being competitive. If I'm on my ult, it is what it is. I don't really care too much.
Pangu does like the unranked stuff to help out, because when he does play, with his viewers, he'll go ahead and okay, I'll do unranked, some of that. So I'm playing with unranked and just having some fun. And you see these kids, coppers and bronze. They were just, for them is like the world to them, So I was just thinking how you do it.
It's different if there's people like that, but like I've seen from a lot of my viewers that like people that are asking to play are usually like the plat, emeralds, and diamonds normally. Like I haven't had too many of like the bronze, the silvers,
the rookies.
I feel like my name isn't very well known in that community.
That is true. That is true. Your name is known with a competitive and esports, the pro
Yeah,
leagues.
my name
So
isn't like huge on Siege. Like
yeah,
comparing someone like me to like Pengu. Like, Pengu's name carries a lot more weight than my name does.
carries. Yeah. Well, I mean,
So like
he's a
people that are
phenomenal.
newer to the game are way more likely to know Pengu than to know who the hell I am. You know?
Back before you got into to comp and all this stuff, who was your favorite pro player or the person you used to look up to the most?
I have a bad answer for this, and I'm not trying to be a hater
Mm-hmm.
or anything. It's just I didn't really watch Pro League for several years. I was playing Siege. I was playing as like I was playing on console. But watching Pro League didn't really apply to me because it wouldn't matter. You know.
So there was nobody on YouTube that you're like, okay, I like the way this guy's played. I like to learn from him. It
Uh,
was
this gonna sound bad again, but there wasn't really for anyone for me to learn from.
okay.
Like
So
I was on
basically, this is
console.
self-taught.
I was the
Basically,
highest level. Like I was like level 150 season one, like year one, and everyone else around me is like 50, 60, 70. Like I had more game experience than like everyone around me, and
okay.
I didn't really feel like watching other people. Like I've saw some YouTube and stuff. It just looked like you can take 10 hours of VODs and clip that into 5 minutes, and that guy looks like a god. But what about that 10 hours of gameplay? It didn't magically erase. It's still there. On
True.
stream, you can't really hide that. You get the quick and dirty. You get everything.
Yeah, you get everything. Yeah.
YouTube is just cherry picked good moments, and like it's good to have. Oh wow, that strat works. Trust me, bro. And then like I'll watch these guys do it, and then look, they'll get slammed. And I'm like, yeah, that's because that was a cherry picked YouTube moment.
That is so true. That's what happened with my friend. That there was he was the pro skateboarder. He got to play with some guys. He says, "Dad, this is not like what I expected." I was like, "Oh man," I felt so embarrassed. I felt bad. I said, "Listen, just tell him you gotta go," because they were just doing it for content and they were just doing stupid stuff.
Like, I like this guy. I'm going to start by saying this. I like this guy,
Mm-hmm.
but I got a lot of hate on this. So I played against Uzi. He was solo queuing, and he
Okay.
posted playing against streamers, and he showed a clips of him dropping a 4K 2 times in a row in 2 different games. It's fine, but this is what I call cherry picked YouTube moments. And I'm not saying Uzi's a bad player or better, like whatever. Like it has nothing to do with that. It's just I want to talk about this moment.
Yeah.
We had a 5-stack. He was solo queue. He was sprinting into the building every single round, full speed, and died instantly at the start of every round, except the one time he got in and then got a 4K because he ran into a door that nobody saw him coming through. And second map, exact same thing. So man ends like 4-4, and his team got slaughtered, and we won both games 4-1. But cherry picked YouTube moments. It looked like he was winning the game. Oh shit! I got so much hate on TikTok from moments like that. But like, hat off to him. He did DM me and ask if he could use that. I'm like, I don't care. But still, it was like, it's hard to just like gauge anything or like really learn too much on YouTube when you're at a certain level. You gotta like play the game. You gotta like understand it. You gotta like. I'm not really sure what I'm saying here. Just
No, it's not. No, I understand what you're saying. It's like you gotta put the boots on and go out there.
yeah.
You gotta get your hands dirty. Just by watching some. I mean, the person that I learned a lot was Kickstar. Seeing the way he played, I mean, it was like, what the heck? That's what really got me into R6. It's like, okay, I'm gonna turn off, Battlefield, and I'm gonna try this out because the way he did it impressed me.
Kix was one of those streamers on Twitch that was like leaps and bounds. Like, I'm not going to talking about skill wise, just like leaps and bounds, a better person and a better streamer, content creator than everybody else. Like, he didn't have an ego. You could go into his chat, you could talk to him, he would respond to you. He had thousands of people watching, but like he still like tried to talk to you. Versus like the many streamers that a lot of people know that are like, hey chat, how are we doing today? And then they'll never respond to a comment. And it's like, why even ask?
Yeah.
Why even ask? I would rather a streamer goes and like responds to a single comment every once in a while. Like just like you see one and you respond to that one specifically and you miss everything else, that's fine. But you're at least trying. You don't just try to pretend like you respond to everything. Like Kicks
correct.
was really good at that.
Yeah, he would look, he would, talk to everybody. He would, say some,
Yeah, so if I had to
reply.
say any streamer that I looked up to, like how to do things and like learn from, I guess it would have been Kicks. I would have
Yeah.
put him up there.
He was phenomenal. Phenomenal. So talented. I regret so much not getting his charm. I don't know what I think I was in a I think what happened was I was the transition from console to PC, and I didn't know that if I was going to be on PC I was be able to use the same account. I was all confused about it. Then, unfortunately he passed away, and then it was too late. So when I went onto his channel, it's like you couldn't purchase it no more. I was like so upset. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's one charm that I always wanted was his charm. So it was a true bummer. I mean, it was I was so hurt about it. Now, on the other topic, I heard there was some beef or something that I don't know if you went against KG, and I don't know. I was like,
Oh,
I think
okay. Let's dive
what's
into
the
this
key?
topic. Okay,
Huh?
okay, hold on. All right, dive into this topic. KG, looking at me, I swapped over to PC. I wasn't like, I had a lot of game experience from console. Swapping over to PC, I'm just like a random little nobody from beneath KG's bootstrap. He's just like killing
Mhm.
him in a ranked match, and he's like, "Who is this guy?" Like, whatever. And because I was a streamer, people went into his chat spamming, SenVale owns you, SenVale better, all that stuff. So
Oh,
eventually he got to the point where he just banned my name, blocked me on everything. I could never talk to the guy. Never interact with him ever. Never had a
really?
conversation, never talked to him, never anything. Never Q sniped him, never stream sniped him. I just played the game. I
Yeah.
didn't care. I never really cared what I was doing against KG. Like no offense to KG, like he's not a bad player, but like if I was going to go out of my way to go play somebody, I would want to play pros because to me that would be better content wise than playing a streamer that's playing with like friends and stuff. Like it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And then eventually, I did the 1v1 with Jinxie, and then Jinxie invited me to do the 5v5 old guys versus young guns or whatever
Mm.
whatever he was calling it. And I was a cat.
Oh
So
yeah.
it really just comes down to like he just doesn't want drama.
Well, my thing is with KG, he tends. I mean, I'm an old cat, so I could read people very good, very fast. My recommendations: never judge too quickly. Don't judge so fast. Give some time, because if I think he judged you or whatever, his chat, people were spamming or what. There's people do that all the time. I remember when Jinxie was 1v1 Spoit. You got the Jinxie fans coming onto Spoit channel and just going freaking ballistic.
Yeah, it's funny.
It was like, and then Spoit caught it on and he was just laughing at it. Just laughing at it. It was like, haha,
He's been on Siege for a while. Like from my perspective, it doesn't seem like he enjoys Siege as much as he used to. He just
yeah.
kind of like Macy's probably said it best that he just plays Siege for the money. Like he doesn't enjoy the game at all.
Well,
I'm not saying that KG's quite that far along,
yeah.
but I know that he doesn't enjoy the game as much as he used to, and
I
he
could,
just doesn't
yeah, I
want
could
drama.
tell.
He just wants to kind of play the game, have a good time, not have to worry about any drama. Any drama that's thrown his way, he's just completely fucking, just X, get it out. Like I'll get added on Twitter every now and then, and like if I've never interacted with somebody and they're adding me like talking shit or whatever, I'll just block them. There's just no need
Yeah.
for me to reply to someone that's just literally trying to quote unquote clout chase using my name for clicks and impressions. I'm like, I'm just gonna block it and move on with my life.
Yeah, I agree with you. You come to a certain age and certain time in your life that you like, you know what? I don't want no drama. I just want to have fun, play with my friends, have a good time, do the content I need to do, and that's it. And I do see that about him. My thing is I reached out, I invited him through the email, never get a reply. I mean, I'm like, okay, dude, you could just say, yeah, I can, or no, I can't. That's my only issue with him. It's like, okay, can you at least reply? It's just like, because everybody, has either reply to me. All the pro players that come on, even CEOs. I had the CEO of M80 come onto the pod. A lot of people know me now. My name has gone throughout the esports industry. It has expanded. I got people from Counter-Strike and Valorant. They're like, oh, I know who you are. You're the podcaster, esports podcaster. I'm like, how do you hear me? Oh, no, because of this. And I was like, okay. So you start to get well known. So I assumed, I was trying to like, hey, let me invite you as well. And just crickets, And so I just like, you know what? I don't have time. It was him and Macy J. There's like in the same boat, I reach out to Macy's way.
I'll use a term that I've said before. It's I like to call them the year one like boomers. And there's a lot of like older content creators that kind of stay in their own circles and they never really branch out. They don't really associate with a lot of us, like the Athenios, the Garfields, the Pox Unlocks,
Mm-hmm.
Like because all of us can talk to each other. I can DM literally anybody and they're gonna reply to me. Like, but like Macy and KG, like they kind of live in their own little worlds, own little orbits, and it's like someone like KG, like I've played with KG recently, like in ranks, but like it's kind of tough. Like it's just he's not streaming with us like as an equal. He's like you're in the KG stack. And it's like someone like me, like I don't fully like playing with somebody that's not going to be like you're one of us. You're in the grind set. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Like playing with Gunnar and Nexon, like there's no egos there. They're talking about who's stuck with whose mom the entire time, and Gunnar singing us songs.
Oh yeah, it's so freaking fun, man. Watching you guys play. Then I'm hopping on.
Pissing me off as they're throwing and they're like locked in, bro.
And that's what the people want to see. That's what the people want. They love it. They like that, that little drama, the little toxicity, all this little stuff that comes on.
Guys, they still do well. So like they're just not trying to rock their boat. They're trying to have a good time doing what they're doing. They're in their own circles. They want to keep it that way. They don't want to really like look around, look at other people because people like let's say you play with this guy who's like a guy that has a couple thousand viewers. You play with them pretty often, and you're more funny. You're funnier. You're more entertaining. You're better. It's just like people start to like gravitate towards that, and like a lot of those guys see that, and they're just like, it's like a guy in prison eating his food. He puts his arm around his plate, and he just like kind of shovel it in his mouth, like making sure that nobody can see what's going on.
Yeah,
that's kind of how I view them. It's like I remember Macy saying like, or I think Garfield made a post about this. He was like saying like none of the like year one, year two like content creators ever try to network or make content with any of the newer guys. And then Macy replied that you guys don't ask us. It's like we do. You guys just never respond. Like
that is so true.
With Macy J. I played ranked with all. I would try. I would try to do it with all these guys, but like I'm not trying to bend over backwards to to do all this stuff. I just want to play as a player. I'm not trying to play with you as a content creator. I may make content, make this into content. That's fair, but I'm just trying to play the game.
And it's sad because I have talked to people that are around the world on that listen to me on the pod, and also I have had people on the pod from all over. And I'll mention their names. I'll say, do you know who Macy J is? King Jordan. They're like, who are they? You play Rainbow Six. You're a pro. You don't know. He said, nah.
Yeah, I mean,
and they just don't even know.
I get told all the
remotely.
time, like a lot of people have no idea who I am. Like it's. I don't think my name's that big, and people are like, oh yeah, SenVale, you're famous and stuff. I'm like, dude, like the average player is probably not gonna have any idea who I am.
Yeah.
It's like the average champion is going to know who I am. And I know that because when I have stream mode on, they always say my name in all chat.
That's true. Well, hopefully now with the podcast, you're gonna get a lot more listeners. I was talking to Summit last time. I was at Summit. I got people in New Zealand. He goes, I don't know nobody in New Zealand. I said, I know that. They know you. So,
Summit is like the dream of every streamer, where you can just stream whatever you want and you'll do fine.
And you would, yeah. He's actually.
I like Siege.
Yeah.
But I don't like it as much as I stream it. I stream it because of the numbers. But if I have the choice between just streaming Siege and then streaming Siege, but also variety, of course I'd stream variety. But like, I'll have like 200, 300 viewers, like streaming Siege. If I try to play like, here, random Baldur's Gate stream, 40 viewers.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, can't do that.
Yeah. So Summit is let me tell you what he did. We dim each other back and forth a lot, and then when he gets a chance, because he's very super busy. And then one day he was streaming with a buddy of mine on Halo. He was playing Halo and all this stuff. And then I got him to play with this other guy that does Halo with mouse and keyboard, which is the opposite of Siege. Over there, majority all the pros use a controller. Yeah.
But the problem. I'll talk about this afterwards. Sorry.
Yeah. So I said, Summit, I know this guy. He is phenomenal, which kind of not for nothing. Somebody reminds me a little bit of you. I think it's the voice or something. I mean, you guys are like really cool. So I said, listen, this guy's really cool. Trust me. I'm not going to put somebody for you to play with that's going to jeopardize your stream, and not to get penalized or say something that's going to be offensive, that's going to get you, a mark with Twitch and all this and that. He says, okay, cool. Who is he? And I told him who he was, and he invited him. They got to play together, and it was like the coolest thing ever. And then I was like, dude, he said, sure, no problem. I was like, really? Summit? He's like, yeah.
Summit, from what I know, doesn't really play Halo. And a lot of people don't really try to approach streamers to play with them in a real way. They're just like trying to like fanboy. Half the time I'm playing Siege, like I have no one to play with. Like I need a stack.
Well, you know what? He mentioned something not long ago that he's looking at Siege. He says, "Oh, the game seems very interesting." So I DM him. I said, "Listen, if you ever want to play Siege, let me know. I know a lot of people. I'll hook you up. I get some people to play.
I'll get the content creator stack for Summit ready to go. We got. I'll bring the Garfield. I'll bring Athenia. I'll bring Isis Cold, and we'll top off with like maybe a Rexton or something.
Yeah, I think Rex. I don't know. I don't. Yeah, Garfield. I don't know too much. I know who Athena is. I know all these other guys that you also play. Ice Cold, I know. Yeah, they're all good players.
They all got charms in the game, and I don't.
Yeah, why is that? Why is that, Simple? Why is it you don't have a charm yet, dude? You're supposed to. What the heck?
Well, they just changed something recently that now only one creator gets a charm per season. So that kind of hurt. And two, with the Jinxieverse, I hate to say like Jinxie did a lot of good things for Siege, but he also made a lot of people famous on Siege. A lot of people that were complete random unknowns. Like I could name them. I'm not going to do that. But like there's a lot of people that just kind of came up out of nowhere because of Jinxie. And those are a lot of people that are probably further in line for a charm than I am. And like I don't know why fully, but maybe it's because my hours that I stream, or who knows.
But what is the requirements? You gotta get what? I'm 300 viewers.
Very far beyond the requirements.
Are you serious?
Yes, it's 150 average viewership.
You do average that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to have 150,
and then they pick.
And then
at least 150. And then they pick. But they also pick people that aren't at 150. Like, I'm not going to say names again.
Okay.
But they've picked they've given a lot of charms out to people that, how do I want to say this in a way that's politically correct? That fit their prerogative. And
it's not who you play with, it's who you know. or who
it's
you
not-
play
it's,
with?
it's more of like along the lines of who you are. And me being an older white guy, they have quite a few of those.
See that you
But
need your
I'm not saying
charm.
it's because of that fully, but like I do think that does, lean into it a little bit.
Oh, I agree. I agree.
I have
I
to
mean,
assume because I have no idea why.
you're supposed to. Let me tell you, I know certain people that are extremely toxic. I mean, it's just like to the point that you just like, why even go in this person's channel? And they got a charm. And I'm like, wait 1 second.
I know
And
who you're
the way
referring
you
to,
do it, you're
'cause
just
there's
phenomenal.
one person that you could be referring to, and he used to be a Zim on console.
I can't. I don't want to mention name. I do have a disclaimer on the podcast. So anything it said, this is for entertainment purposes only.
Okay.
Don't take this serious.
I know who you're referring to, but
Yeah, you can text it to me and I'll tell you yes or no.
I'm actually curious.
Wait, are you using the
Twitter. I said on Twitter.
On Twitter? Okay.
On Twitter.
Let's see. Let's see if you're right. Yes.
Yeah.
You hit it out of the ballpark. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
It is what it is.
That's funny.
I mean, the charm thing is like, it seems so minuscule, like charm in the game, like whatever. But like, that opens up so many doors, like Ubisoft creator events, like tons of subs for your charm. Like now there's an actual reason to sub on Twitch because you get that charm. So like the revenue like generated from that is just like already absurd. I go from like, I don't make crazy money, but like I make enough to like stay full time. Like I stream full time.
Yes, you do. Yep.
Make enough to stream full time, but like that charm would open up so many more doors to just do more things and like doing Ubisoft creator events. Because I love making content at the end of the day. I don't do this for money, but I still have to survive. But I love streaming. I love making content.
You think there's somebody within certain groups, that could just kind of vouch for you and say, hey, listen, this guy really deserves this charm. I'm willing to talk to whoever and vouch for you because you've been it through thick and thin, but I don't know.
I have no idea who to even approach with this. I've had my sleeper agent Super trying to do work in the background, but he doesn't know what's going on either. So.
Yeah, Super's phenomenal. I love him.
I like
yeah.
Definitely prefer people that are like the real motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Out there. Like the guys that are like,
yeah,
I know when I talk to them, I get what I get. They're not hiding anything. They're just like, they're just real.
Yeah, he's
versus
cold
like there's a lot of fake in the content verse of just like people that appear to be like happy-go-lucky, really nice, and then like they're like just horrible people like when the stream turns off.
Oh yeah, I know. I met somebody like that. When the stream got over with, and he's not a rainbow player, and I said, listen, can I talk to you over on Discord? He said, sure. So then after that, when I talked to him in Discord, I was like, man, this guy's like freaking just gives me this bad vibe. It's like rude, just like, dude, you were like the friendliest guy 5 minutes ago on live stream, and now I'm talking to you. You're just like really freaking rude. As for Super, he is who he is. What you see is what you get.
Yep.
And he has told me out blunt, like, no, I can't. Hey, Super, you got a moment? No, I can't. I'm busy. What is it? This is okay. No, whatever. But there was times that if it wasn't for him, my podcast wouldn't be where it's at, because he was the first to be on the pod. He was.
Super's actually a good guy.
He's a really good guy.
He comes off as a massive asshole, which I think is hilarious. It's part of his content.
I think, bingo, it's part of his character. I think that's what it is.
But to me, that's just who he is.
Yeah.
Just who he is.
Sometimes I don't even know if to take him serious or not, because that's the way he is. And he came on the rebrand, he came on the rebrand I changed it for the Dr. V Tech show. Then he came back on the rebrand when it was the Esports Launch podcast. And then he goes ahead and messaged me. He says, let's see how long this rebrand's gonna last. It's so freaking funny because it's true. Because then I switched it up to the Rascals Lounge podcast, and I had my reasons to, because people were telling me the more you grow in podcasts and you're gonna start having different guests on. And I had a lot of guests that backed off that were musicians that said, I don't know. I'm a musician going into esports. We're totally opposite. So I was like, oh, God. So then I had to flip it and I changed it. So now it makes it general, like the way Joe Rogan does. So I was like, super, you were right. So true. I switched it again. It's funny, but he's like really down to earth, really nice guy. And I was really concerned one time because I get these informations way before. This is a while back with Sonic. They were cleaning the house, and I said, "Man, Super, I'm not here to tell you what to do, but really think about it twice with Rexon." And he told me, "Don't worry about it. Rexon's not going nowhere." And I was like, okay, that's all I care about. So I had that. I known that way back. But he's a really legit nice guy, really cool guy. Have you played with him?
Super. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
So in Face of Pro League, this is where I met Super. There was a saying in FPL that if you had Super on your team, you better be ready to carry. And it's not that he's playing bad.
Yeah.
It's just that he's dicking around the entire time trolling somebody. So comms are sporadic, and he's going to let you know about it. And then if you have Yardy and Super in your team, you might as well just give up. Because they're going to be talking shit to each other the entire game, and you ain't going to win. Because I have the stats on FPL. So looking at the stat leaderboard, I have the 6th most wins out of anybody in Face It Pro League. Like that's including everyone, all the pros. Super. So you start with 1,000, right? When you win, you go up 11 points. When you lose, you go down 9. So you start at 1,000. I had like 2,600 or something like that. Super. -400.
Oh my God.
Yardy. -1,000.
Oh God, I haven't heard about Yardy in a minute. Wow.
I mean, it's a good time, but I was playing for money. I'm like, dude, I'm playing for a PS5 right now.
Yeah.
Please. No, I like him, but I'm like, I like you from not on my team unless they're trying, which I know you're not.
Oh gosh, I haven't heard from Yardy. What's up with Yardy? What's he doing?
Oh, dude, I don't know. He got banned on Twitch for going into a topic that I don't even want to bring up right now.
Don't bring it up. Oh gosh,
doing some crazy stuff. And if you've seen him on Twitter, like he's just kind of always going off left, right, center.
Yeah, he's
a funny guy. I've met him at like R6 events. He's a good guy, but
yeah, he's cool.
He just has a lot of hot takes that Twitter's not ready for.
Yeah, I think he has to go to Kick. Just go to Kick.
He'd be a good Kick streamer. He would.
I think he'll be a phenomenal Kick streamer. I mean, I used to mod for him, and he used to be crazy on Twitch. I was like, dude, what the heck are you? You can't.
Yeah. Unfortunately, his ban was probably justified.
Oh,
so.
Jeez, man, he's a character.
Well, yeah, going from that, it's like there's a lot of pros that I see don't leverage their pro status into like some type of content creation, social media, etc. They just play pro league and they end up, getting dropped or whatever have you, and then they just don't have anything.
They disappear.
They disappear. It's like there's so many pros that are just like sleeping on this. Like I saw Dream as a good example of this. It's like Dream. Well, he was kind of streaming here and there, and then like he had a really massive showing at the major, and then he was streaming like crazy and had hundreds of viewers after that major. It's like you leverage that into something that's going to be longer term, like Pro League. I've been asked a lot, like "Hey, SenVale, do you ever want to play in Pro League?" I'm like, I personally, for me, I don't see a point in even trying. There's no point for me.
Mhm.
I would make more and I do better and have a better time doing what I'm doing now. It's like Pro League would be nice, but like, maybe me from like 10 years ago would have been great, but like now it's like uh you know, there's no point in me bending over backwards doing scrims, jaw runs just to get to a level where I could get picked up, just get dropped after 3 months or even less.
Yeah, and that'll be then you're gonna feel like you're walking on eggshells
They're
and
better off picking up an 18-year-old that has no financial responsibilities that they can pay next to nothing
yeah.
and exploit them for a couple of years.
Yeah. I tell that to everyone that that I know is in Pro League. I said, listen, take advantage now. Start streaming a lot. Get your name out there. Everybody knows who you are, but get into streaming. Do a lot of content creation because with that, you're gonna build up. You know who
Example
did
A,
that?
Fed.
Fat bingo. I was gonna tell you. Once they won, they beat BDS. That was the biggest talk in the freaking R6 community because I
And
mean beating.
he leveraged that into a massive social media platform. He got bigger than me extremely quickly. I spent years grinding. So, any content creators out there, never compare your story to anyone else because you're going to be discouraged when things like
Yeah.
this happen. He grew like huge, like overnight from this.
Oh my god, huge! And I mod for him as well.
Yeah.
I just came by his channel one day. I was like, "What the heck is going on here, Fat?" He's like, "Hey, what's up, Dr. Reek?" I was like,
Yeah.
"What the heck?" Freaking
Yeah.
wild! I'm so
I
happy
want
for
to talk
him.
about that for another second. Yeah. Anyone that's getting into content or whatever, like even as a pro, whoever, anyone, never compare your story to anyone else's. You're going to grow at a different rate. You might have a further on launching off point. It might not even happen. Like I never really felt like I was ever growing on Twitch. And then I look how I was last year, the year before that, the year before that. I'm like, oh, I guess I am growing, but like it's just a slow process. You never really see it.
Yeah, it
And
takes
like I
time.
compare myself to like these other guys that are like, I just see them like up in the stratosphere. I'm like, I don't know how they're doing that, but like, I told myself, looked at myself in the metaphorical mirror and was like, I'm not going to stop. Like, I'm not stopping. I don't care what's happening around me. I have my nose in the dirt and I'm grinding. I
Yeah.
do not care.
Yeah, I mean, let me see what I could do. I know Summit's he's thinking about doing some rainbow, and if he does, I'm gonna mention your name. I got a couple people that I want to hook you up with, Sembo, because you're
I'm
you're
down for it.
you're phenomenal. There's some guys that I know, even in the guy that plays Halo with M&K, that I got to play with Summit. I'm gonna see if I hook you up also with him. I mean, I'm really selective which people. I mean, any of my friends that I consider my inner circle, that I know I could trust that they're gonna do good, and I know you're one of them. So I know you always been a legit, really nice person to me, and you always been really cool.
I try not to be an asshole.
That's I mean, I'm so used to it. I was raised in a military home, so I got a little bit of thick skin when it comes to that.
I try not to be a dickhead unless the situation calls for it.
Yeah, I mean, you're good. I mean, hang out with SenVale's channel. You're a breeze. You know? I mean, over the Super's channel. Super, he could say some rough stuff. I'll be laughing. I'm like, oh God, Super, you really just said this to this guy.
Yeah, no, he lays into people.
Oh, he
But
lays it hard. He just
but
he,
it's a good
without
time.
a kiss.
That's what people watch him for.
Oh yeah,
That's his style.
that's his
No
style.
one
Yeah.
else is doing that on Siege at the very least.
Yeah. So, what advice you give to? We're gonna be wrapping this up here in a minute. So, what advice do you give to all these young guys that are trying to get into streaming and into content creation, and also into playing Rainbow Six Siege? I mean, talk to them. I mean, what's
So-
the equipment is the priority, or is it what is it that they really need to do?
For equipment, you need a camera. People need to be able to connect who you are as a streamer, as a player, versus just random gameplay on the screen. You don't gotta be the most attractive person in the world. They don't care about that. But people are gonna throw shots at you, but you'll learn how to deal with it. Like, I remember when I first started streaming with a camera, it was really annoying. People commented on your looks, etc. Like, but you just learn to just at a certain point, your skin thickens up. It'll be fine. You need a camera though. You need a camera. In terms of growing on like Twitch or whatever, do the complete opposite of what I did. Don't just stream countless hours on Twitch. Be smart about it. If you can only stream, so and so many hours, stream a couple hours on this day, but always do that day. Try to have a consistent schedule so people know when you're going to be live. I used to stream every day at 10 p.m. EST on the dot. Now I'm like 10 to 11 p.m. EST-ish. But
Wow.
on the dot, people are in my stream a minute before the stream even started because I was always live at that time. Always. So be consistent. You don't have to be every day, but like be consistent with what you're doing. Don't just like hit go on random parts of the day expecting to have viewers. It's not gonna happen. They're people. They need to know when you're gonna be there. And make sure to use your other social media platforms. There's a lot of other platforms you can use to leverage yourself. Like let's take Jinxie for example. Jinxie was, he was doing pretty good on Twitch, but like the reason why Jinxie grew so big is because of TikTok. Post content on TikTok, even if it's just highlight clips. Post something. Like it's basically a free billboard to use for your stream that will get people in the door. Post on YouTube Shorts. Even if you don't want to see long YouTube videos, you can post the same videos you post on TikTok on YouTube Shorts. Simple and free. And then might as well do Instagram too. Same video you post on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts. Same video on every platform. And then, you just stream when you have time.
Phenomenal, man. Phenomenal.
That's my spiel.
That's good advice, folks. That's good advice. Well, SenVale, thank you so much, man, for coming on, man. It's been phenomenal. Thank you. I give everybody a minute to go on stage to give out the socials everywhere. Tell everybody around the world where they could find you.
Well, I am a SenVale. I stream on Twitch, YouTube, Kick, and TikTok. I post daily YouTube videos. I post multiple times a day on TikTok and Instagram. I'm just SenVale on everything. It's pretty easy to find me. SenVale on literally any social media platform on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Kick, Instagram. SenVale on all that. I post a lot of tip guides on how to get better at the game. So if anyone's trying to get better at the game, hit me up. I'm pretty easy to DM. If you have a question about something specifically, leave me a comment on YouTube or something, or like ask me on Twitch. I respond to every comment. The biggest thing about me on Twitch, the thing that I try to set myself apart on Twitch, is I try to be as interactive as possible. I try to reply to every single comment that I see. That's what, I try my best because I know how annoying it is to like try to talk to a streamer and they just flat out ignore you. Even if I'm like going through a bunch of comments and I'm going through them kind of slow, I will respond to every single comment that I see. But, SenVale on everything. That's it.
That's true. I mean, he does read them out. Phenomenal. Thank you so much, SenVale, for everything, for coming on. This is a long time waiting. Your name has been brought up a lot of times. Hey, bring SenVale and brings this guy, so your name was brought up a lot. And I was like, you know what? I should have invited SenVale a long time ago. And I don't know if I did try to invite you way before. But I know you've been super busy.
You might have, but like I've just been so busy just trying to grow everything. I'm like, I stream every day and I make my own YouTube videos every day.
Yeah.
like on my
like
TikToks
every morning
day.
You're on that sucker, man. Once you get out, and I was like, does this guy get any sleep? Because you're back on at night.
Yeah.
But you
Not
do
much.
make my nights
Not
go
much.
good. Trust me, because I be at work and 12-hour shift, and I'm looking at these heart monitors and all this stuff, and I'll just put my cell phone, my earbud, just one, because you're not allowed to use them, but I just hide it.
Yeah.
And I'll just be listening to you. It's like phenomenal. I was like, okay.
I know how the hospital goes. I used to read manga on my laptop in the ER.
So I'm over here. I'll be like checking you out. I was okay, good. SenVale's on. I'm gonna have a good night. Boom. I'll just be lurking there till like boom, 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock. And I'm like, this guy's still streaming. What the heck? And you're also on Discord too, right?
Yep, SenVale on Discord. Yeah.
He's in Discord, folks. This guy is a legend. Go ahead and follow him, listen to him, and you be good to go. Well, thank you so much, man. It was such an honor. Thank you. I'm truly grateful. Thank you for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
Hey, God bless, man. Hopefully it won't be the first nor the last. So I'll bring you on later on. So thank you so much. Okay, folks. You know what time it is? Thank you for tuning in. Peace.
Thank you for listening to this episode on the Rascals Lounge podcast, and please don't forget to follow us on X and on your favorite podcast platform.